How's about that to start your 2026? Who needs New York City? We have the New York Knicks here in San Antonio, and we got a 19-point lead down the drain. San Antonio Spurs come back and top the New York Knicks in one of the best comebacks of the NBA season. They lose their star player in the fourth quarter. Victor Wembanyama goes down with a knee injury, does not return. Spurs are trailing in that moment, but Julian Champagnie, the man of the hour, a franchise record 11 made three-pointers, the Lone Star legend, TJ Ford. I tell you, a guy makes 11 threes and doesn't attempt a shot inside the arc. What's that tell you?
Well, he was on fire. He was able to lead us tonight in this game, even with Vic. And then when Vic went out, he was able to still carry the load and make some big-time threes. As you see here, he was getting all these things in rhythm. He was getting them in transition, and guys was finding him as he was on a trail guy. But to be able to shoot 11 threes and make 11 threes is very, very impressive. And the guy should be talked about being in the NBA three-point contest.
I was going to say, you were about to put this guy on a candidacy, a platform, right? Do we need to see Champagnie in the three-point contest?
Most definitely. I mean, if he's not in there now and solidified his spot, then we may have a little conversation. We got to come back to, this broadcast to pump him up and get him in that three-point contest. And
the party started right here from TJ Ford. Champagnie in the three-point contest. I mentioned the Spurs single game franchise mark for made three-pointers, the most points by an undrafted Spur in franchise history. It's a pretty easy call down there for Jake Toby and Sean Elliott, or just Champagnie pulling up and it goes down, right, gentlemen?
Pretty easy. I just call it how I see it, and it was all makes tonight, all of them.
No, he did a great job getting open. I really didn't see any forced threes by him. There was one late in the game where the ball was kind of thrown down at his foot, down near his feet, and he had to kind of corral it and then shoot it. Maybe that was the only forced three of the night, but the rest were effortless. And he gave credit to his teammates, and they deserved a lot of credit for continuing to find him.
When you're in a rhythm like that, what does it feel like?
You're begging for the ball. I mean, you get upset if you don't get it. I mean, you should get mad if you don't get it, but he got a lot of looks tonight, and Mitch did a great job putting him in good spots, and his teammates did a great job finding him and realizing who had the hot hand, and that's half the battle.
Tonight was about Julian, no doubt. The Wemby injury, we'll sort that out later. But Keldon off the bench again, 19 points, and guess what? Yeah. Didn't miss a free throw tonight, 9 of 9.
And that's why I love his game today, because he missed a couple little bunnies in there. So when you look at his shooting percentage, he's 5 of 12. Kind of take that with a grain of salt, because he did a phenomenal job. He missed 2 or 3 inside, got some offensive rebounds, but then, Keldon does what he does. I mean, he's overwhelming the smaller defenders underneath, and probably could have gotten some more opportunities. And this is where I wish Dan was on this broadcast, because Keldon Johnson's a -10 on the plus minus. Get out of here. That stat is, I mean, come on. He helps win the game. Yeah. He helped win the game. He out-muscled Mikal Bridges down there on the free throw line. Gets a couple more free throws late in the game. He's 9 from 9 from the free throw line. He's got 8 rebounds, 19 points, and he's -10. You're going to tell me we were 10 points worse with Keldon on the floor? There's no one that will ever convince me that is correct. He was absolutely sensational tonight. Great job by Keldon.
Yeah, he was awesome. And now you kind of flip the page again. You snap the 2-game losing streak, you win. But now these next sets of games, 3 sets of back-to-backs to start 2026. Not the nicest welcome into the new year.
No, and you just don't know what's going to happen with Victor. And so our guys are going to have to get accustomed to playing without him again. They did so for about 3 weeks or so, 3+ weeks earlier this year. So get back to that mindset where he's not going to be there, lock down defensively, move the ball, and share it.
Thanks for taking me and my lovely lady out to dinner last night. Appreciate it.
I thought you paid the bill.
Oh, no. I did not.
That's why my credit card company was calling me.
We did some damage last night.
Yeah. There she is, Cassie.
Cassie, her sister Alila, her girlfriend Kate. Thanks for coming, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for taking it easy on me.
Yeah, not too bad, like the guys in the truck when we go out.
Oh, now that's one. That's where I have to call the bank. There's a wire transfer coming.
Nate and TJ, back up to you guys. Happy New Year.
Who needs Dick Clark and Ryan Seacrest? You got Jacob Toby and Sean Elliott right down there. I want to spend my New Year with those guys down there.
Oh, yeah. Let's go to dinner on Sean pretty soon
If
here.
that's what's on the table, I mean, we'll hop in on that one next time. San Antonio erases a 19-point lead from New York in the first half. Come back to get their 24th win of the season. And what this means, TJ, is that the Spurs officially now the owners of the NBA's third best record. The pilfer and the put away, De'Aaron Fox. A lot more of that. They trailed by 10, under 9 minutes to go in the game. They trailed by 19 at one point in the first half, erase the deficit, come out on top. It's just one of the many comebacks they've had this season. The three teams on your screen, those are no joke. Knicks, Nuggets, and Thunder. All of those teams right now in the top fourth of the NBA in terms of records. Each one of those teams is going to be playing postseason basketball. When San Antonio gets in an early hole and pulls out of it, particularly against teams that good, TJ Ford, tells you something about the makeup.
Oh, definitely. You just know what it takes to be able to win. And when you look at those guys being able to continue to fight when they get down against some of the best teams in the league, they was able to showcase that tonight, that showing their resilience, showing their composure, and just showing that they trusted each other. Being down 19, that's not easy to do, and that's not something that players can get down on, and they was able to just continue to keep fighting and gave themselves a chance down the stretch.
Adversity. Spurs have 24 wins right now. The adversity they've faced, they played games without De'Aaron Fox, without Dylan Harper, without Victor Wembanyama. Today, they finished the game without Wembanyama, but still pulling through in the end. The adversity this team has faced earlier on in this season, it's going to tell us a lot about what we know coming the end of the season from what we see these are opening couple months.
I just love that they're a good group, and they love each other, and they support one another. And I think that's the expectations of knowing guys are going to go in and out of lineup. I think they understand in the NBA, guys are not playing 82 games anymore. So just being able to stay resilient and being ready when your name is called. And one thing about this Spurs team is, you know, everybody had their moment tonight. Some guys didn't play as well, but for the most part, they stayed with it. And multiple guys had moments throughout this game that was very impactful.
Yeah, in the first three quarters, the most impactful moments coming from their most important player, Victor Wembanyama, coming out on an absolute heater. He had 22 points, 8 rebounds in the first half alone, asserting his dominance early, TJ.
Well, he carried us. In that first half, he was brilliant. He did everything and could have done even more. Obviously, I felt like he was on a way to have a 40-point performance before he went down here on the rebound right here of coming down when you got two guys with the size foot that him and Karl Anthony Towns, obviously you see their tough position to be on a rebound, but obviously when the guy is so tough, you know, he left this arena on his own and he gave us not just us, but the crowd, you know, hands up that he's okay. Now, we don't know what that determines for the future of him, but for him to get back up and walk up the court, I'm a guy that's always a fan of somebody's walking on their own.
Absolutely. It's a right leg injury for Wembanyama. No doubt Spurs head coach Mitch Johnson talking about it, at least addressing it as we speak. We'll bring that to you in a few minutes. But as you mentioned, Victor Wembanyama was on his pace for a 40-point game, still finished with 31, and he didn't play the final 9 minutes of the ball game.
No, he didn't. But at the same time, I just think, you know, those guys just gathered around and they just wanted to do everything in their power to continue to keep competing. And when you look, I felt like the last 5 minutes, I felt like De'Aaron Fox was able to kind of take over. I think he was able to get in pick and rolls. He got to his floater, and I think that just opened up a lot of other things for Champagnie to be able to get more threes in transition. So different spurts throughout the game. I think certain players stepped up and was very, very efficient and impactful in certain moments throughout this game.
And they've got experience doing so with everything they've overcome so far this season. Wembanyama, we know his hand is all right because he was able to bring the drum out to bang it to celebrate the W. There's Steph Castle up top to Luke Cornett, part of the massive comeback that paid.
Mitch, any word on Wemby's status to extend the injury?
Have not been able to talk to the medical staff yet, but, you know, I think I saw what everybody else saw. And, you know, there's a visual there, but obviously he finished the game on the bench with his teammates, so I think that made me feel good. I have no idea what to say, but it was good to see him walk back out and be able to finish the game on the bench with his teammates.
Left knee or?
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Thank you. Coach, we talked a lot about sticking to the process in the last couple of days. How proud are you of you guys of what they did in the second half to complete this comeback?
I thought we were not very good for a lot of stretches in the first half. And the competitive response and the energy that we were putting as the game went on into the right areas, we felt it. And I think that team is very physical and competitive. And if you don't match that along with sharp execution, they can systematically wear you down at times, especially Brunson and Towns and how they play. And I was just extremely proud of guys that stepped up tonight, and especially that group in the fourth quarter, that we need people to have days, and not every day is everyone's day. And when it's your day, you need to step up and pick your teammate up. And when it's not your day, you got to still figure out how can you participate in pushing in the right direction with everybody else to participate in the group goal and execute what we're trying to get done.
Julian obviously had a day. Coming in, he hadn't been shooting it great for the last stretch of games. So what's that kind of say about him, that he's able to sort of have that short memory that you guys always ask him to do?
Yeah, he's been phenomenal in the sense of his rebounding has been excellent. His team defense has been mostly very good. And he's, I think, landed in a place of very comfortable and content in terms of where his shots can come from and how to play. And I think he's one of those guys that when we play the right way, it typically produces pretty good opportunities for him. And he took advantage of that. And sometimes when we don't play the right way, he can be, unfortunately, a victim of losing some of those opportunities, and it's just good to see him. I thought Keldon was great, Luke, and I think De'Aaron Fox was phenomenal. I can't say more about his consistency on defense and the balancing act of being in attack mode and including his teammates, and then also being a pace setter for us and a finisher when we need big baskets.
I think we had a similar conversation last season when Sandro did what he did. You know a guy like Julian can shoot the ball, but is any part of you ever surprised that he does it just to this extent?
I mean, 11 for 17's a big number. Obviously, I do think, again, Julian is in a place right now where if we play clean offensive basketball as a team, he's going to get really good looks. Not saying he's going to make them all or he's going to have nights like tonight, but I think he is in a place to take advantage of those opportunities, and it's on us as a staff and his teammates to make sure that we do not take advantage of those opportunities.
Nate and TJ with you back here on Spurs Live postgame. There was Mitch Johnson, Spurs head coach, addressing the Spurs comeback win. And TJ, sticking out there with something that you had mentioned to me right when Victor Wembanyama went down, was that De'Aaron Fox needed to step up. The team was trailing, and Fox really set the tone, pushing the pace in transition, setting the tone defensively. He has a lot of experience in playing without Victor Wembanyama from those 12 games missed, but people forget this young man is an all-star.
Oh, when it got down to winning time, he was able to do what he does best, and what you brought him to be able to do is be able to lead down the stretch and make big plays, and he was able to do that with his scoring ability. And then obviously Coach Mitch talked about his defensive presence and what he was able to do. Brunson didn't have an excellent night, even though if you look at his numbers, he was able to get to his stat line, but he struggled in certain situations, and they made it very, very difficult for him tonight.
Victor Wembanyama will continue to monitor his status moving forward, whether or not he will be available for the Spurs' next contest. That comes in the new year. Friday night in Naptown, Spurs going to be at the Indiana Pacers. Yes, the same Indiana Pacers who 6 months ago were 3 quarters away from an NBA championship. Now, as we turn the page to the new year, the Pacers have the worst record in the NBA. How about that, TJ? Obviously, losing your star player goes to show what happens when you take away your star. Tyrese Halliburton has not played played this year. Spurs going to look to go to Indiana and get a win.
Yeah, that ball club is banged up, and when you have one of your premier all-stars not on the basketball court, knowing that he's hurt, is pretty much not much you could do. But when you look at, good coaching they have, but, with injuries, it's tough in this league to win without having your main guy. So going from finals to the worst team in the league is something that I don't think anyone felt that would happen, but they're in that position right now.
Yeah, tough to win without your star, but down the stretch, the Spurs able to do it tonight. Talking about Sean Elliott and Jacob Toby going to dinner, TJ. They're going up to Indiana. That's your former stomping grounds. You got any tabs open up there you can hook Sean Elliott up with, I guess, maybe?
Oh, yeah. Let's send him to a restaurant and send him a good bill.
134-132. The Spurs start the new year the right way. Leaving with the NBA's third best record, Julian Champagnie, speaking of records, setting a franchise record, 11 made three-pointers. Who needs New York City? We got New Year's Eve in San Antonio. Spurs win as we start the new year. Take care.